The rain hammered against the glass tower like 1,000 accusations. Emma Harper stood in the elevator, her resignation letter burning a hole through the envelope in her hand. For years of swallowing her voice, watching James Sullivan claim her ideas as his own, shrinking herself into nothing. Not anymore. The 20th floor opened onto a world she didn't belong in. Soft lighting, art that probably cost more than her yearly salary. Silence so thick it pressed against her ears. Only one office glowed at the end of the hall. Nathan Cross, CEO, the man who spoke about integrity at company meetings, while his employees bled out on the floors below. Emma's knuckles rapped against his door harder than she intended. "Come in." She pushed through. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the storm-soaked city. Nathan sat at his desk, sleeves rolled, tie loosened, now looking far too human for someone who held so much power. He glanced up. Surprise flickered across his sharp features. "Can I help you?" "I'm Emma Harper. Marketing." Her voice came out steadier than she felt. "I needed to give you this personally." She crossed the expensive carpet and placed the envelope on his desk. "It's my resignation. Effective immediately." Nathan's dark eyes held hers. He picked up the envelope, turned it over without opening it. Then he stood, walked to the door, and locked it. Emma's pulse spiked. "What are you doing?" "Keeping you from making a mistake." He leaned against the door, arms crossed. "Sit down. Tell me why one of my employees is quitting at 9 o'clock on a Thursday night. You don't even know who I am." "Emma Harper. Marketing analyst. Hired 4 years ago. Responsible for the campaign concepts that increased client retention by 32% last year." His jaw tightened, though the credit went to James Sullivan. Emma sank into the chair, her legs suddenly weak. "How do you know that?" "I read every performance review. I attend meetings where people present ideas they clearly didn't come up with." Nathan returned to his desk, but didn't sit. "I'm not blind to what happens in my company. But I can't fix problems no one tells me about." The damn insider broke. She told him everything. The stolen ideas, the belittling comments, the way James made her feel invisible, except when he needed someone to blame, the sleepless nights, the anxiety, the slow death of her confidence. Nathan listened without interrupting, his expression darkening with each word. When she finally fell silent, he opened a drawer and pulled out a file. "Her file. I've been watching your work for over a year," he said quietly. "Every report, every campaign. Do you know why I haven't promoted you yet?" Emma shook her head. "Because I was waiting for you to realize your own worth. I wanted you to come to me, to fight for yourself, to demand what you deserve." He leaned forward, intensity burning in his eyes. "But instead, you're running away. I'm surviving. Surviving isn't living." Nathan picked up her resignation letter and tore it in half. Emma's breath caught. "I have a different proposal," he said. "Starting Monday, you work directly with me. No more James. No more stolen credit. I need someone who understands this company from the ground up. Someone with fresh ideas and the courage to speak truth to power. You can't just promote me like that. People will talk. Let them talk." His voice dropped. "Emma, I see you. I see your talent, your dedication, your potential. The question is, do you?" Thunder rolled outside. Emma stared at the torn letter at the man who had just offered her something she hadn't dared to imagine. "Why?" She whispered, "Why me?" Nathan's expression shifted. Something vulnerable flickered across his face before he locked it down. "Because 4 years ago, I was exactly where you are now. Someone saw my potential when I couldn't." He extended his hand across the desk. "What do you say, Emma Harper? Are you ready to stop surviving and start living?" Emma looked at his outstretched hand, at the door he'd locked behind her, at the storm raging outside the glass walls. She reached out. Their hands met. And she had no idea she'd just made a deal with a man whose secrets would destroy everything. She thought she knew Monday morning tasted different. Emma stood outside Sterling Innovations, coffee in hand, watching her reflection in the glass. Navy blazer, cream blouse. The armor of someone who belonged. The 20th floor greeted her like a secret she'd been invited to keep. "You must be Emma." A woman with silver hair and kind eyes extended her hand. "I'm Patricia Mills, Nathan's assistant. Welcome to the chaos." Emma's new office had her name on the door. Emma Harper, Senior Strategic Advisor. The words felt like a borrowed coat, too big. It's not quite hers yet. The morning briefing was a battlefield disguised as a conference room. Nathan Patricia, the CFO, Michael Chen, and Diana Rodriguez, head of operations. They spoke in acronyms, referenced decisions made in rooms Emma had never entered. Then Nathan turned to her. "Emma, you've been in marketing for 4 years. What's your read on the Singapore campaign?" Every eye shifted. The old instinct to shrink clawed at her throat. But she remembered his words. "I see you. The campaign is technically flawless," she said, voice steady, "but it's missing soul. We're presenting Singapore as a market to penetrate rather than a community to serve. The research shows what they buy, not why they value it. We're speaking at them instead of with them." Silence pressed down. Diana leaned forward, sharp-eyed. "Go on. If we want genuine market penetration, we need to start with listening. Hire local consultants. Conduct community forums. Understand the cultural nuances we're missing." Emma pulled out her tablet, the idea she'd sketched Sunday night. "Our current approach is colonial, not collaborative." Nathan's lips curved. Not quite a smile. Something darker. More satisfied. "Make it happen," he said. "You have full authority." The weeks that followed blurred together. Emma worked 14-hour days, but this time, the exhaustion felt different, purposeful. She rebuilt campaigns, challenged assumptions, pushed back when Michael questioned her budgets, and Nathan was always there. In meetings, his eyes would find hers across the table. In the elevator, their shoulders would brush. Late nights, when the office emptied, he'd appear at her door with coffee and questions that felt like tests she desperately wanted to pass. "You're not afraid of me," he said one night. Rain streaking the windows behind him. "Should I be?" "Most people are." Closing the door. "They see the title, the power. They don't see the person." "What do you see when you look at me?" Emma asked before she could stop herself. Nathan moved closer. Close enough that she could smell his cologne, see the shadow of stubble along his jaw. "Someone who's been underestimated her entire life," he said quietly. "Someone who's about to become unstoppable." His hand lifted, fingers brushing a strand of hair from her face. Emma's breath caught. The moment stretched, fragile, electric. Then his phone buzzed. Reality crashed back. Nathan stepped away, jaw tight. He glanced at the screen and his expression went cold. "I have to go. Nathan, good night." "Emma." He was gone before she could finish. 2 days later, Emma arrived early to find James Sullivan in Nathan's office. Through the glass walls, she watched them argue. James's face was red, hands gesturing wildly. Nathan stood perfectly still, expression unreadable. When James stormed out, he saw Emma. His lip curled. "Enjoy it while it lasts," he hissed. "You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into." Emma's stomach twisted. That afternoon, an email landed in her inbox. No subject line. Just an attachment. She clicked it. The document loaded. It was a contract. Dated 4 years ago. Between Sterling Innovations and Sullivan Consulting Group, James Sullivan wasn't just her supervisor. He was Nathan's business partner, the company. Emma thought Nathan had built from nothing, had been funded by James's family money. They were co-founders, equal shareholders, and according to the contract, any personnel decisions required unanimous agreement from both parties, which meant Nathan couldn't have promoted her without James's approval, which meant everything Nathan had told her was a lie. Emma's hands shook. As she scrolled through page after page of legal agreements, financial records, email threads discussing her specifically. One message made her blood run cold. From Nathan to James, Dated 3 weeks ago. She's talented but breaking. Push her harder. When she quits, we'll have grounds to restructure marketing without severance complications. Then we bring in your sister like we discussed." The office tilted. Emma stood, legs unsteady, and walked to Nathan's office. He was on a call, but waved her in, smiling. That smile that had made her feel seen. That smile that had been a weapon all along. She waited until he hung up. "Is it true?" Her voice barely worked. "Are you and James partners?" Nathan's smile died. "Emma, is it true?" He stood slowly. "It's complicated. That's not an answer." Yes, the word landed like a blow. "James and I founded this company together. But that doesn't change. You lied to me." Emma's voice shook. "You made me think you were saving me. That you saw something in me. But I was just a piece on your chessboard. A problem to eliminate? That's not fair." "Fair." Emma laughed, sharp and bitter. "I trusted you. I believed you when you said you saw me. That you wanted to help me become who I was meant to be. And the whole time, you were just setting me up to fail." Nathan moved around the desk. "Listen to me." "Don't." She stepped back. "Don't come near me. Don't touch me. Don't pretend anymore." "Started that way," Nathan said, voice rough. "But it changed, Emma. You changed it. What I feel for you stop." Tears burned her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. "I don't want to hear it." She turned to leave. "Emma, please." She looked back at him. At the man who'd held her hand across a desk and promised her the world while planning her destruction. "You were right about one thing," she said. "I did need to realize my own worth." She walked out, and this time, Nathan didn't try to stop her. Emma didn't go home. She went to a bar 3 blocks from Sterling, ordered whiskey she didn't drink, and stared at her phone. 17 missed calls from Nathan. 12 texts. She deleted them all without reading. The bartender slid a napkin across the counter. "Rough day? Rough life? Want to talk about it?" Emma looked up. The bartender was older, weathered, with eyes that had seen too much. Something about her reminded Emma of Patricia. "I trusted someone I shouldn't have," Emma said quietly. "I let myself believe I mattered to him. Did you?" "I don't know anymore." The bartender leaned on the counter. "Here's what I've learned. People lie, but feelings don't. Question is, which one are you going to listen to?" Emma left a 20 and walked out into the rain. Her apartment felt too small, too quiet. She changed into sweats, poured wine, and opened her laptop. If Nathan and James wanted to play games, she'd learn the rules. She spent the night digging. Corporate filings, board meeting minutes, financial statements. And slowly a picture emerged. Sterling Innovations was bleeding money. The Singapore expansion was a desperate gamble, and James's family was threatening to pull funding unless the company showed profitability by Q4, which was 8 weeks away. Emma's campaigns had been the only thing keeping the lights on, and according to internal projections, her Singapore strategy would either save the company or bury it completely. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. "Hello? Emma, it's Patricia. How did you get this number?" "I'm Nathan's assistant. I get every number." Patricia's voice was gentle but urgent. "We need to talk." "Not on the phone." "Can you meet me?" "Why would I do that?" "Because Nathan didn't send that email." Emma's grip tightened on the phone. "What? The one from 3 weeks ago?" "About pushing you harder." "He didn't write it." "I saw his name. James has access to Nathan's email. He's had it for months. There's a lot you don't know, Emma, and if you walk away now, you'll never learn the truth." Emma's heart pounded. "What truth?" "Meet me tomorrow. Sunrise Coffee. Come alone." The line went dead. Emma didn't sleep. At 6 a.m., she sat in a corner booth of Sunrise Coffee, watching steam curl from her cup. Patricia arrived precisely at 6:15, wearing jeans and no makeup. Looking nothing like the polished assistant from the office, she slid into the booth. "Thank you for coming," Emma said. "Fast." Patricia pulled out a folder. 4 years ago, Nathan was where you are now. Brilliant, overlooked, used. He worked for James's father. James was supposed to inherit the company, but he had no talent, no vision, just money and entitlement. So Nathan stole the company? He earned it. He built Sterling from nothing while James took credit. Until James's father had a heart attack. On his deathbed, he split the company 50-50 between them. A partnership neither of them wanted. Patricia opened the folder. Emails, photos, legal documents. James has been sabotaging Nathan for years. Undermining his decisions, poisoning relationships. That email about you? James wrote it from Nathan's account to make you hate him. Why? Emma's voice cracked. Why would he do that? Because Nathan was going to buy James out completely. He'd been working on it for months. Pulling together investors, liquidating personal assets. He was going to give James everything he wanted. Money and freedom, and finally own Sterling outright. Patricia pulled out another document. A contract dated 1 week before Emma's resignation attempt.
Oh.
Then you walked into his office that night, and everything changed. Emma stared at the paper. It was a buyout agreement. Nathan's signature at the bottom. James's line empty. He was going to sign it the next morning, Patricia said. But after meeting with you, he tore it up. He told me if James was the kind of man who would destroy someone like you, he couldn't let him walk away with millions. He needed to expose him first. So I was still just a pawn. No, Patricia's voice turned fierce. You were the catalyst. Nathan has been going through the motions for years, building something he didn't care about with someone he couldn't trust. Then you reminded him what it felt like to actually give a damn. Emma's hands shook. I don't know what to believe anymore. Believe this. Patricia pulled out her phone and played a recording. Nathan's voice filled the tiny space between them. James, I'm done. I'm not signing your buyout. I'm not protecting you anymore. Emma Harper deserves to know the truth about what you've done, and so does this entire company. You have until Monday to resign. Otherwise, I'm going to the board with everything. James's response was venomous. You think they'll believe you? My family owns 40% of the shareholders. You'll destroy yourself trying to destroy me. And that little marketing girl, I'll make sure she never works in this industry again, and I guess we're both going down. The recording ended. Patricia looked at Emma. He's risking everything to protect you. His company. His reputation. His future. So you tell me, was it real? Emma couldn't speak. Her phone buzzed. Nathan, I know you hate me, but James is planning something. Please be careful. Please, Patricia stood. He's at the office. He's been there all night. Whatever you decide, decide fast, because James isn't going to wait. Emma sat alone in the booth long after Patricia left. The bartender's words echoed in her head. People lie, but feelings taunt. She thought about Nathan's hand reaching across the desk, the way his eyes found hers in every room, the coffee he brought on late nights, the vulnerability that cracked through his armor when he thought she wasn't looking either. He was the best liar she'd ever met. Or he was the first person who'd ever truly seen her. Emma stood. She had a choice too. Make 8 in 8 weeks to save a company that might not deserve saving. Emma found Nathan in his office at 7 a.m., still wearing yesterday's suit. Papers covered every surface. Coffee cups formed a graveyard on his desk. He looked up when she entered, hope and fear warring in his bloodshot eyes. Emma, I spoke with Patricia, stood slowly. And I need to hear it from you. All of it, no more games. No more half-truths. Shh. She closed the door behind her. Why did you really promote me? Nathan ran a hand through his hair. He looked wrecked. Vulnerable in a way that made her chest ache. At first, he laughed bitterly. I wanted to piss off James. He'd been blocking every good decision I made for months. When I saw you were about to quit, I thought, here's someone he's been abusing. Someone talented he wants gone. Perfect ammunition. And then you sat in that chair and bled truth all over my expensive carpet. Nathan's voice dropped. You reminded me why I started this company. what I'd lost trying to keep it. You walked in broken, and somehow you were still braver than I'd been in years. That's not an answer. The answer is I fell for you. The words came out raw. Somewhere between that first night and watching you rebuild an entire campaign strategy in 3 days, somewhere between coffee at midnight and the way you challenge me in meetings, I fell, Emma. Hard and stupid and completely. Emma's throat tightened. You should have told me about James, I know. You should have trusted me, I know. He moved closer. But I was afraid. Afraid you'd run? Afraid you'd think I was using you. Afraid that if I told you how complicated everything was, you'd realize I wasn't worth the trouble. Are you? She asked quietly. Worth the trouble? Nathan stopped inches from her. I don't know, but I'm willing to spend the rest of my life proving it. The air between them crackled. Emma's resolve wavered. Patricia said James is planning something. He's calling an emergency board meeting. Tomorrow, he's going to accuse me of mismanagement. Hostile work environment, ethical violations. Nathan's jaw tightened. He's going to use you as evidence. Say I coerced you, manipulated you, made inappropriate advances. That's insane. Smart. And it'll work. Nathan turned away, staring out at the city. His family controls enough votes. By Monday, I'll be out. He'll install himself as CEO, and you'll be collateral damage. So we fight back. With what? His lawyers, shareholders, years of documentation. I have a recording that proves nothing, and a reorganization plan that's bleeding money. Nathan's shoulders sagged. I can't win this, Emma, and I won't let him destroy you trying. So that's it? You just give up? I protect you. He turned back, something fierce in his eyes. Tomorrow morning, you're going to receive a severance package. 3-year salary. Glowing recommendation letters. Connections at every major firm in the city. Emma's stomach dropped. You're firing me. I'm setting you free. Before James can poison your name. Nathan stepped closer. You'll walk away clean. Build the career you deserve. And I'll make sure James never touches you again by sacrificing everything you've built, saving the one good thing I've found in 4 years of hell. Tears burned Emma's eyes. I don't want your protection, Nathan. I want the truth. I want a choice. You have a choice. Take the money and run. Let me handle this. And what happens to you? His smile was broken. I'll survive. I always do. Emma's hands curled into fists. Do you remember what you told me that first night? That surviving isn't living? That was different. It's exactly the same. Oh, she closed the distance between them. You asked me if I was ready to stop surviving and start living. Now I'm asking you. Nathan's control cracked. His hand came up, cupping her face. I can't let him hurt you. Then don't do this alone. She kissed him. For one heartbeat, he froze. Then he kissed her back, desperate and fierce, and full of everything he'd been holding back. His hands tangled in her hair. Her fingers gripped his shirt. The world narrowed to breath and heat and the taste of coffee and regret. When they broke apart, Emma's chest heaved. I have a plan, she said. But you're not going to like it. Nathan's thumb traced her jaw. Tell me. James wants to paint you as unstable, unethical. He wants the board to see you as a liability. Emma's mind raced. So we give them something worse. We give them me. What are you talking about? I go to the board first. Tonight, I tell them everything. The stolen credit. The harassment. The toxic culture James created. Emma's voice steadied. I tell them you tried to fix it and he sabotaged you. I tell them about the Singapore strategy, the profitability projections, everything you've built despite him. They won't believe you. They will, if I bring evidence. Emma pulled out her phone. I've spent the last 2 days in the company server. I have emails, performance reviews, financial reports showing James's division is the only one losing money. I have testimony from 6 other employees he's abused. And I have this. She showed him her screen. A video file. What is that? James. Yesterday afternoon. Propositioning Diana Rodriguez in the parking garage. Emma's smile was sharp. She recorded it. She's been waiting for the right moment to use it. I convinced her tonight is that moment. Nathan stared at her. Emma, if you do this, James will come after you with everything. Your reputation, your career, you're my what? My safety? She laughed. Nathan, I've been unsafe my entire life. I've been small and quiet and careful, and it got me nowhere. You taught me that. I can't let you take this risk. You don't get to let me do anything. Emma's eyes blazed. This is my choice, my fight, my life. You gave me a chance to be seen. Now I'm choosing to be heard. Nathan pulled her close, forehead pressed to hers. If this goes wrong, then we go down swinging together. He kissed her again, softer this time. A promise sealed in rain and wreckage. Okay, he whispered against her lips. Okay. They spent the next 12 hours building a case, evidence stacked on evidence. Witnesses lined up. By the time the emergency board meeting convened at 8 p.m., Emma had a presentation that would either save Sterling Innovations or burn it to the ground. She stood before 15 stone-faced executives, Nathan silent at the back of the room, and began to speak. She told them everything. The room erupted. James screamed about lies, manipulation, conspiracy. His family's lawyers threatened lawsuits. Board members shouted over each other, and then Diana Rodriguez stood up. I have something to add, she said calmly. She played the video. The room went silent. James's face turned white, then red, then purple. This is entrapment. This is over, said Margaret Chen, the board chair. Her voice could cut glass. James Sullivan, you're removed from all operational duties effective immediately. Security will escort you from the building. James lunged toward Emma. Nathan moved faster, blocking him, eyes dark with violence barely leashed. Touch her, Nathan said quietly, and I'll destroy you with my bare hands. Security pulled James away. Still screaming threats? Margaret turned to Nathan. We'll be conducting a full review. But based on tonight's evidence, I recommend you remain as CEO pending investigation. Nathan didn't move, didn't speak. Margaret looked at Emma. It's for you, Miss Harper. You've demonstrated remarkable courage and questionable judgment getting involved with your superior. Emma's stomach dropped. However, Margaret continued, given the circumstances and your clear value to this organization, I'm recommending you be promoted to Chief Strategy Officer, provided you and Mr. Cross can maintain professional boundaries going forward. Emma's breath caught. I do you accept. Asterisk, she looked at Nathan, at the man who'd torn up her resignation and handed her the world, who'd been willing to sacrifice everything to protect her. I accept, Emma said. On one condition, Margaret raised an eyebrow, which is, Nathan stays on as CEO, but we restructure the board. New oversight. Real accountability. No more partnerships where one person holds all the power. You want to reduce your boyfriend's authority? I want to build something sustainable. Something neither of us could destroy even if we tried. Nathan's eyes met hers across the room. Pride and love, and something that looked like awe. Margaret smiled. Motion approved. Meeting adjourned. The room cleared. Emma and Nathan stood alone in the wreckage of what they'd built and burned and rebuilt again. Chief Strategy Officer, Nathan said, you negotiated your way into the C-suite. Someone once told me to demand what I deserve. He crossed to her, cupped her face in his hands. I love you. I don't know when it happened or how to stop it, but I love you, Emma Harper. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I love you too. Even though you're an idiot who tries to save people by pushing them away, I'm learning. Good, because I'm not going anywhere. He kissed her. Soft and deep and full of promises, neither of them knew if they could keep, but they were going to try. 6 months later, Emma stood at the window of her corner office, watching snow fall on the city. Singapore had launched 3 weeks ago. The numbers were extraordinary. Sterling Innovations was no longer bleeding. It was thriving. Behind her, the door opened. She didn't turn around. She knew his footsteps. Nathan wrapped his arms around her waist, chin resting on her shoulder. The board approved the expansion. Margaret called me first. He laughed against her neck. Of course she did. You're her favorite. I'm everyone's favorite. It's exhausting. They stood in comfortable silence, watching the city transform under white. Do you ever regret it? Nathan asked quietly. That night, walking into my office, instead of just leaving, Emma turned in his arms. Do you? Not even for a second. Liar, she smiled. You regret at least 73 seconds. Okay, maybe 73. His thumb traced her jawline. But not the rest. Her phone buzzed. A text from James's lawyer. Another settlement offer? The third this month. He's still trying, Nathan said, reading over her shoulder. Let him try. Emma deleted the message. He has nothing. We have everything we could accept. Put it behind us completely. No, Emma's voice hardened. He needs to live with what he did, just like we're living with what we built from it. Nathan pulled her closer. You're ruthless. It's terrifying. You love it? I love you. The words still made her chest ache. 6 months, and they still felt new, fragile, hard-won. Nathan, Emma said softly. There's something I need to tell you. He tensed. That sounds ominous. I got an offer. From Meridian Global. They want me to head their entire Asia-Pacific division. Silence stretched between them. Emma, that's incredible, Nathan said finally. His voice was steady, but she felt his hands tighten on her waist. You'd be amazing. It's based in Singapore. I know. For 3 years. I know. Emma turned to face him fully. I haven't answered yet. Why not? Because I don't know if I can leave. She touched his face. I don't know if I can leave you. Nathan's eyes closed. When they opened, they were bright with unshed tears. Emma Harper, you once told me surviving isn't living. Don't survive for me. Don't make yourself smaller to fit into my world. This isn't about making myself smaller. This is about choosing what I want. And what do you want? Everything. Her voice broke. I want the career. I want the challenge. I want to build something extraordinary. And I want you. I want late nights and early mornings and fighting about strategy over coffee. I want your hand in mine when the board meetings get brutal. I want. He kissed her. Deep and desperate and tasting like salt and snow. Then take it, he whispered against her lips. Take the job. Nathan, I'll come with you. Emma pulled back, stunned. What? Sterling is stable. We have a strong executive team. I can work remotely. And Singapore needs an office anyway. What? Nathan's smile was crooked. Besides, I hear they have an excellent chief strategy officer heading the expansion. You'd give up New York? The headquarters. Everything you've built? I'd give up anything to be where you are. His voice was raw. These 6 months have taught me something. Sterling was never home. Tears spilled down Emma's cheeks. You can't just uproot your life for me. Why not? You were about to uproot yours for me. That's different. It's exactly the same. Nathan cupped her face, thumbs wiping her tears. Emma, 4 years ago, you walked into my office ready to give up. I told you to stop surviving and start living. Now I'm taking my own advice. What if it doesn't work? What if we get there and we fall apart? Then we fall apart in Singapore instead of New York. His forehead pressed to hers. But I'd rather risk everything with you than play it safe without you. Emma laughed through her tears. That's the most reckless thing you've ever said. I learned from the best. She kissed him. Soft and sure and full of every promise they'd broken and rebuilt. Okay, she whispered. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Let's go to Singapore. Let's build something impossible. Let's be reckless and stupid and brave. Nathan grinned. When do we leave? March. 8 weeks. Perfect. That gives me just enough time to propose properly. Emma froze. What? Nathan pulled back, suddenly nervous. Too fast? I can wait. I just thought, Nathan Cross, did you just accidentally propose? Accidentally and purpose. His smile turned sheepish. I had a whole plan. Dinner, ring, speech. But apparently, my mouth decided to freelance. Emma's heart felt too big for her chest. What would you have said in the speech? Nathan took her hands. I would have said that you saved me, that you walked into my office broken, and you put us both back together, that every good thing in my life started. The night you tried to quit, and I locked the door. That's stalker behavior. When you phrase it like that, I would have said that I want to spend the rest of my life giving you everything you deserve. And when you outgrow me, I want to cheer you on. His voice cracked. I would have said that loving you is the only thing I've ever done that felt like truth. Emma's hand shook in his. You forgot the question part, right? Nathan dropped to one knee. Oh my God, you're serious, Emma Harper. Will you marry me? Will you build a life with me across oceans and time zones, and whatever chaos comes next? Will you fight with me and challenge me, and refuse to let me take the easy way out? You don't have a ring. I have a ring. It's in my desk. I've had it for 2 months. I was just waiting for the right moment. He grinned. Turns out the right moment is when I accidentally ruined my own proposal. Emma pulled him to his feet. Ask me again. In Singapore, with the ring and the speech and whatever over-the-top romantic gesture you're planning, and what will you say? You'll have to wait and find out, Emma. Nathan. That's cruel. That's strategy. She kissed him. But for the record, the answer is yes. It's always been yes. They stood in her corner office, snow falling outside, the city glittering below. To people who'd been broken and scared, who'd learned to build something beautiful from the wreckage, I love you, Nathan whispered. I love you too. Emma smiled against his lips. Now go get the ring. I want to see if you have good taste, or if I need to exchange it. You're impossible. You love it. I really do. They kissed in the falling snow, in the office where everything had changed, where a locked door and a torn resignation letter had rewritten both their futures. The road ahead would be complicated. There would be late nights and hard decisions, distance and doubt. Moments when they'd question if they'd made the right choice, but they'd face it together. Two people who'd learned that the most courageous thing you can do is choose love even when logic screams to run. Emma. Harper had walked into Nathan Cross's office ready to end one story. Instead, she'd begun another. One with no clear ending, no guaranteed happy ever after. Just two imperfect people choosing each other again and again. And in the reflection of the window, as the snow fell and the city glowed, they looked like exactly what they were. Survivors who'd finally learned to live. The end.